Hi guys, and welcome. Today's project is going to be a quick release buckle collar, and it is themed for Valentine's Day. It's just like the darker side, I guess, because I named it Dark Hearts. So the supplies that you'll need for this particular collar are, I am using a quick release metal buckle in gunmetal, and this is 1 inch. I'm also using a 1 inch O-ring, and for the cord that I'm going to be using today are all 550 paracord, and I'm using this Imperil Red and Black hex cord, and that's what your double cow's hitch will be hooked up to. If you're not familiar with how to do a double cow's hitch, I can leave a link below for you guys to follow along with. I show you guys how to hook it up to either a quick release buckle or if you're using an adapter, and also how to hook it up to your jig if you're not familiar with that. So like I said, I have Imperil Red and Black hex that is hooked up to the double cow's hitch. I'm also going to be using Imperil Red, Black, Mindbender Imperil Red Black, and a glitter tracer. I believe that it's called Red Midnight. It's got traces of red glitter through it, and those are the cords that we'll be using today. So for the tools that I'll be using today, I will be using this speedy jig. It's an XL. It's the one that I use in all of my videos pretty much, and I will be using also a paracord needle. I think they also call them a fid or a fib. I can never say it right. I always call it a paracord needle, or fit. I can never remember what it's called. I'm so sorry, but I call it a paracord needle. And I'll be using this also today. You do not have to use one of these if you don't have one. You can melt the end of your cord to create a hard cap on it, and then you can push that through your cords. So for the first cord that I'm going to be adding is the black, and you can loosen up your 2 cow's hitches at the top of your work. You're going to want to just go in between the 2 cow's hitches, just like that. Pull your cord to the other side, and you can pull it to the middle at the top of your work. Next, I'm going to be adding the Mindbender Red and Black. And what you want to do here is pretty much the same thing. You're just going to go through these 2 cow's hitches, just like that. Pull it to the other side and bring the middle of the cord to the top of your work. The next cord that I'm going to be adding is the glitter tracer cord. What I want to do here is I want to go in between this first cow's hitch, go underneath this first stitch, go underneath the second stitch to the left, and come up that left cow's hitch. So you just want to go in between one, go underneath the 2, like that. Bring it to the other side. Whoops. And you want to bring that cord also up to the middle at the top of your work. Next cord that you're going to add is the last one, which is the Imperil Red. And you're going to do the same thing that you just did with the tracer cord. You're going to just go underneath those 2 stitches, right in the middle. Bring it to the middle at the top of your work. Okay, once you have your cords to the top and at the middle, you can tighten up your 2 cow's hitches. I do suggest double checking your measurements to make sure that nothing has moved around and it's where it's supposed to be. And we can really just get started. So, one other thing, sorry. You can roll up some of your cords. So I rolled up my 2 hex cords, and I rolled up my 2 black cords. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I want my O-ring at the top of my work. I work on an inclining desk, so I need to use a little clothespin to hold it in place up there. Because it'll just like to roll down on me. To start, I'm going to start on my right side with my hex cord. And what I want to do here is I'm just going to go underneath this first cord on my right, up through the middle, and then over this second cord on my left. So you're basically going right up the middle and then over. Next I'm going to take my hex on my left side and I'm going to go underneath the cord that I just worked. I'm going to go underneath this first cord on my left now, right up the middle, and then over that cord that is on my right. Next I'm going to take my black on my right side. What I want to do here is I'm going to go underneath all my work and come right up the middle. So I'm going to go with my right black, underneath, right up the middle. And then I made this loop with the hex on my right side. I'm going to go down that loop. Now I'm going to take my black on my left side and I'm going to come underneath all my work and then come right up the middle again. So go underneath, right up the middle. And then I have this loop of the hex on my left side. I'm going to go down that loop. Now I'm going to take my clothespin off. And I am going to start with my Mindbender. So I'm going to take my Mindbender on my right side, and I like to just kind of fold it up like this, and then I'm going to put it through my O-ring, and I'm just going to pull that through the O-ring. Once you have it through the O-ring, you're going to find these two horizontal hex pieces that are right in the middle of your work. You can pick up on them. It does make it a little bit easier. You're going to take your Mindbender now. What you're going to do is you're going to go over and around these two horizontal cords. You're going to go underneath the O-ring, come up the middle, but you want to be coming up on the right side of the Mindbender cord that you're working with. So I got it through the O-ring. I'm going to find those two horizontal pieces and I'm going to go around those pieces, go underneath the bottom part of the O-ring, come up through the middle, but you want to be on the right side of the Mindbender that you're working with, and you can pull that through. Next you're going to take the Mindbender on your left side now, and you can push it through the O-ring. So go through the O-ring and pull that through. You're going to find those two horizontal pieces. You're going to go around those pieces. You're going to go around the bottom part of the O-ring. You're going to come up again through the middle, but then you want to be on the left side of the cord that you're working, the Mindbender that you're working with right now. So you're going to go over and around those two horizontal pieces around the bottom part of that ring, come up through the middle, but then be on the left side of your working cord, and you can pull that all the way through. So the next cord that I am going to be taking is the tracer cord. So it's the red tracer cord, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to also be starting on my right, and I'm going to put it through the O-ring. So I'm just going to take the one on the right, pass it through the O-ring, pull that through. Now you're going to go around those 2 horizontal pieces just like you did before. You're going to go around the O-ring just like you did before, and you are going to come up through the middle, and then you want to be on the right side of your working cord. So you're going to come all the way up the right side. So go around the 2 horizontal pieces, go around the bottom part of the O-ring, come up through the middle, and be on the right side of your cord, pull that through, okay, once you got that far, what we're going to do now is we're going to take our glitter tracer cord and we're going to wrap it around this Mindbender cord that you have all the way to the right. So what you'll do is you'll take your tracer cord and you're just going to just wrap it around. Just wrap it around, and then you can come up on the left side of that Mindbender cord. So you're coming up between the cord that you're actually working and the Mindbender, and you're going to pull that through. Now we're going to take our tracer cord on the left side and we're going to again go through the O-ring. We're going to find those 2 horizontal pieces, and it does get very messy. Just do the best you can, take your time. Find those 2 horizontal pieces in the middle. Once you find them, you should find your O-ring pretty much right next to it. We're going to go over and around those 2 horizontal pieces underneath the O-ring. We're going to come back up, but be on the left side of our working cord. So you can go around, back up, and over on the left side of our working cord. Pull that through. Next, what we're going to do here is we're going to find our Mindbender cord all the way to the left, and we're going to take our tracer cord, and what we want to do here is we're going to take our tracer cord and we're going to wrap it around this Mindbender cord and then come up in between the cord that you're working with and the Mindbender. So just go around, wrap it around, come up so you're on the right side of your Mindbender, and then pull that through. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to take your red that is on your right side, and you're going to again put it through the O-ring. Pull that through. And you're going to want to go around those 2 horizontal cords, around the bottom part of the O-ring again. You're going to come up through the middle, but you want to be on the right side of your cord. So you're going to go around all those things again, come up through the middle, but you want to be on the right side of your cord. You're going to pull that up and through. And you're going to take the one on the left now. You're going to go through the O-ring. Once you're through the O-ring, you're going to want to go around the 2 horizontal cords, around the O-ring, And oh boy. You're gonna bring it up the middle, and you want to be on the left side of your working cord. And I'm so sorry that this is so jumbled together, but I promise, I said it before, I promise it will get better. So you're going to come up on the left side of your working cord, and now you can tighten it up. Take your time tightening it up. Pull on the same cords each time, but do it slowly because there's just so much going on. Just do it slowly. Okay, so once you have that tightened up, and if you are having a little bit of trouble getting it tightened up, if you put your cords, the rest of those top cords, through the O-ring, it might help you be able to, because you can pull down on stuff to help you tighten that up. So if you're having a little bit of trouble tightening it up, you can put, what was it, the Mindbender, the tracer, and the red cord all through the O-ring, because they have to go through the O-ring anyways, and that might help you tighten it up a little bit more. And I swear that is the hardest part of this collar, is to do the O-ring. And I think that I could use maybe an extra like arm for my camera to get like, maybe like right on top of it so I can show you guys better. I do the best that I can. So if you have any questions, please leave them below. I do answer. So I will do my best to walk you through it again. I know there's another way that you can attach your O-ring to your buckles, and that's by attaching them to, with the double cow's hitch, like having them all together. I just haven't done it yet, so I want to practice a couple of collars before I show you guys how to do that, because I want to make sure that I'm doing it correctly. Anyways, we can get started on the rest of this collar now. So I'm going to be doing the same weave that we did constantly down this collar, and I'm going to start again on my right side with my hex cord, and basically you're just going to go underneath that first cord, right up the middle, over that second cord on your left. Next you're going to take your hex cord on your left, you're going to go underneath the cord that you just worked, right up the middle again, and over that second cord that's on your right. You're going to take your black on your right side, you're going to go underneath your work, right up the middle, down that loop on your right side. Take the one on your left now, go underneath your work, right up the middle, oops, and down that loop on your left. And now this gets easier. No more fussing with the O-ring. So you have your two horizontal pieces in the middle. You're going to pick up on those just a little bit. You're going to take your Mindbender that is on your right side. You're going to go over those two horizontal cords and out the right. So go over and around and out the right. Take your one on the left. You're going to go over and around, but you're going to go out the left. So go over and around and out the left. Next, you're going to take your tracer cord on your right side. You're going to go over and around and out the right. So go over, around, and out the right. Now what you want to do is you're going to find your Mindbender that is all the way to the right, and you're just going to wrap it around. So go wrap it around and then bring it up. Take your tracer on the left side. You're going to go over and around, but you're going to come out the left. you have your Mindbender here. So you're going to just go wrap it around. So you're just going to go towards the left, wrap it around. Then you're going to take your red that is on your right side. You're going to go over and around and right towards the right. Take the one on the left, go over and around and towards the left. And now you can tighten it up. Once you have it tight, we can start that weave all over again. So I'm going to start off on my right side with my hex. I'm going to go underneath, right up the middle, and then over. Next I'm going to take my hex on the left. I'm going to go underneath the cord that I just worked. I'm going to go right up the middle again and then over. Now I'm going to take my black on my right side. I'm going to go underneath my work. I have my loop on my right. I'm going to go down that loop. Take my black on my left. Go underneath my work. Right up the middle. Down that loop on my right. Sorry, left. Next I'm going to take my Mindbender on my right side. Find those two horizontal pieces, pick them up, go over and around and out the right. Take the one on the left, go over and around and out the left. Take my tracer cord now on my right side. I'm going to go over and around and out my right, and then I'm going to go around my Mindbender cord and up. Take the one on my left. I'm going to go over and around and out my left, and then I'm going to wrap my cord around the Mindbender on my left. Take my red on my right. I'm going to go around those two horizontal pieces and go out my right. Take the one on the left, go around and out my left. And now tighten it up. And once you have that tightened up, you can start that weave all over again. I'm going to do a couple of weaves more and let you guys see a bigger picture of the pattern that's forming on the collar. Okay, so I went a couple of weaves down so you guys could see a bigger picture. This is going to be a pretty wide collar. I want to say an inch and a half. It might be a little bit bigger than that. I'll have to see. But you can see how the tracers are coming through on the sides where that curl is. And I think it's looking pretty good so far. So I'm going to continue this weave all the way down till I get to the end, and then I will show you guys how I do my tie off and what it looks like when it's done. Okay guys, so I am at the end of my collar and I took it off the jig, and now I'm going to work in those top cords. So I am going to be starting off with my Mindbender cord, and you have a gap between your work here and your two cow's hitches. And you're going to want to take your Mindbender cord into that gap, as well as your glitter tracer cord. You're going to go in that gap with those as well. So I don't need my paracord needle because my gap is large enough for me to get my cord through. So I'm going to go right through that gap, and I'm going to do the same with the one on the other side, as well as my two tracer cords will go through that gap. So once you have your cords through that gap, you're going to take your Imperial Red cord now and you have a very small hole in between your two cow's hitches. You're going to take both your Imperial Red cords through that hole from front to back. Alright, so once you have your cords going from front to back, we can start to cut and melt the ends. So I do like to start off on my sides. You're going to want to tighten everything up the best you can. And then you want to, like I said, start on your side. I like to cut about 1/4 of an inch up from the collar. I do like to fray them out. I will melt one at a time and then squish it down with my butter knife. So I'm going to start off on the top one. I'm going to melt it. And I do like to, you know, make it hot and then pull away and then make it hot and then pull away. You don't want it to catch on fire. It does happen, so be aware of that. Then I'm going to squish this one down. I'll do the next. Squish this one down. And I will do the same for the opposite side of the collar. Once you have both sides taken care of, then we can start on these middle cords. And the way I'm going to be starting is with my tracer cord first. I will cut and melt them the exact same way that I did on my sides, one at a time, about 1/4 of the way, maybe a little bit longer up. Then I will do my Mindbender cords. Those will be cut one at a time again, and then the 2 red in the middle. So I'm going to start with my tracer cord. When you do one at a time, it's really easy to be able to hold everything else out of the way. I'm going to cut that. Going to melt it. Then I'm going to push it down. And like I said, I'll move on to the next tracer cord, and then I'll do the rest of them as I go. Once you have finished all of that, if you want, you can use your collar as is. But what I like to do is put a little bit of clear non-foaming Gorilla Glue around the ends that I just melted. It's just a little bit of an extra security. And like I said, I use clear non-foaming Gorilla Glue. It's waterproof. It's giving me a hard time today. It is waterproof, so it won't come off on your dog or anything like that. And all you're going to do is just rub it around those ends that you just melted, and you're going to let that dry. And once it's dry for me, I will show you guys what the finished result of the collar looks like.